Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Avery, but I go by Soavecito, and I'm a horror content creator. Welcome to episode 50. As the overlays are messed up, I'm going to fix it in the background. We're at episode 50, and we have an awesome guest, as in Son. Your favorite son, but no, we're going to call him Son today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. While I fixed this overlay that just switched on itself by chance. But the beautiful thing
Right.
about this is because this is live, we can just fix it on the spot, right?
You're seeing the behind the
The
scenes
behind
right
the
now. You're
scenes of the.
seeing the creation of this live stream before your very eyes. Isn't it
Absolutely,
beautiful?
absolutely. I literally had everything fixed, but it's just like it just happens. All right, perfect. While I fix this, can I ask you, how did you come up with your name, your favorite son?
Um, God, it's been so long. I don't even remember now. No, I originally, I think I originally wanted to make it. Um, I had like an idea for a funny tag in like a gamer tag or a username that would be your dad's favorite son,
Hmm.
like I'm better than you, whatever, kind of like funny braggadocious thing. And it was too long. It was too long to like appear all at once or something. So I just made it your favorite son.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, as you know, I'm gonna call you son. Like, when you do like things collaborating with other people, like, how is it when they like? Do you want me to call you son? Like, what do I call you? Your favorite son? Like,
Good enough. I'm the internet's son at this point, I guess.
gotcha,
They're
gotcha,
all
gotcha.
raising me.
When did you start making content? And was YouTube the first content place that you made content?
I think I started technically in like I think it was like 2021
Okay.
ish, but I took like I made like a couple videos and then I took like a really long break. I did start on YouTube, but I made one video on a game called 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
Uh huh.
Um Game not it's very underrated. Not enough people have talked about it. But I made a video on that and I just wanted to try it out as like a hobby. And I liked it so much that I was like, I got to do this again right away. Have to. So I started making another video on a game called Concrete Genie. And when I was in the middle of it, my computer just like, I think my graphics card just gave up. It died. Too many years of stress and work.
Gotcha.
Um, and so I had to like finish the video on this laptop, but I couldn't capture footage on the laptop, so I already had all the footage, but I had to edit, and it was like really slow and it was terrible. So then I couldn't, like, I was so broke at the time I couldn't afford a graphics card, so I just had to wait for like 6 months or something, and
Mm-hmm.
then got a graphics card, started making videos again. Rest was history.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, how did you get into like making? So before I even ask that, like, what is the style of the videos that you make?
Mm, I think I usually, when people ask me what I do, I usually just say I make in-depth reviews about video games.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, that's pretty cool. What's the first? You brought up the first, but like, what's the first horror game that you did like the in depth um videos on?
I think the first horror series I covered, because I usually cover games
Yeah.
in series. I'll do one-offs every once in a while, but the first one was probably Silent Hill, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, Silent Hill.
So
I think you could get into some technicalities there, but we'll
sure, sure.
we'll we won't get into the technicalities.
I get that. I get that. Can you break down like what is the process of going in depth? So like there are videos like you got let's plays, you got videos that explain like what the ending of a game is, but like when you go in depth, like what is your process of creating like such videos?
Um, well, I mean, it's evolved over the years. Definitely very different now than it used to be. I think. But Now I just I play the game front to back. I get all the footage I need. I try to complete it as like close to 100% as I can. And like see I really just want to see everything that it has to offer outside of like, I'm usually not I'm not like a difficulty head, so I'm not playing the game back through on hardcore and then unlocking the you know last difficulty or whatever and then
Yeah.
playing that. um and then I sit down and I do a bunch of research. I try to find articles about the game, developer interviews, stuff like that, and try to piece together some sort of like narrative out of the development of the game. um and find some sort of through line or some sort of theme through these interviews, what they were trying to convey about the game before it was released, and sort of the big um hurdles that they had to overcome, or technical upgrades that they made.
Hmm.
And then I just go through the game front to back. I think my videos are a little different from other long form essays because I kind of try to I use the playthrough as like a structure
Okay.
for the video. So I start at the beginning of the game, the first thing you see, and then as we're going through, I start to, inject some commentary, and as you get to certain points, like, oh, this brings up a larger point about the whole game, that blah 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 blah, whatever, and take you through to the end of the game and then give final thoughts and stuff like that. And I think most people are more it's more separated by like gameplay, combat, environments, story, stuff like that. I try to use the story as like a framing device.
Gotcha, gotcha. So when you
Excuse me.
like you do series, so like the first chapter, like say we take Dead Space, so you would play Dead Space all the way through, then you would start making the video on that, or would you capture the whole game uh, while recording and then chime in like with a voiceover? Like I'm still trying to figure out like what you.
No, I capture all the footage
Okay,
first,
sure,
then I sit down, do the research, then I write a script.
gotcha,
That's what I was talking about there.
gotcha. Okay,
Development, formulating all that. Write a whole script, then I record all of it, and then I use my footage and uh, edit in with the voiceover and stuff like that, and make a video.
nice. So speaking for long periods of time, like do you have to like stop the recording and do you just talk the whole through way through? Because like for me, like I know I stutter and I can never do what you do because like it's just like even though the words are written down or like typed up on a computer, sometimes I say the wrong thing. So like when you're recording like your script, do you have to stop and like restart, or do you go like a once over and then just edit some of those parts out? Like how do you get like a whole thing? Because I like your Silent Hill retrospective is like 9 hours, so I can't imagine you talking for 9 hours straight. So can you walk me through a little how you get like the voiceover?
I mean, actually, they call me One Take Chuck for a
Jesus
reason.
Christ.
It's because I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Listen,
Um,
some people are made for that. You're just built
no,
different.
I do think I am particularly good at reading. For I might be able to get 20 minutes out at a time if
Okay.
I'm really on a roll, if I'm with no mistakes, all that stuff. I might be able to do that because I think I don't know, it's like a skill, it's like a talent or something, I guess.
Yeah, no, it
But
is.
no, I usually I'm usually recording, and if I make a mistake, as I stop recording, I cut it out, and then I start recording from there again,
Okay.
and go back until I have a finished thing. I do take a lot of breaks recording because I hate recording. It's the worst part of the process. I think most people in my niche agree, at least that I've talked to. It sucks. It's terrible. My AC has to be turned off. It gets hot in here. I'm
Yeah.
sweating. It's the worst.
Yeah, no, kudos to you because as you can tell, like I do this podcast live. Like I'm a live streamer because mistakes happen, and if you're recording, you just got like, oh, we're gonna we have to redo that part. I just also like it's like more authentic. Not saying what you're doing is not authentic, but like it just feels like more personal when you're having like live moments, and you could see like those struggles. It's real life shit. So like, but
Yeah.
again, I give you kudos because like I respect I call them gaming essays, but like you bring them up like retrospectives. They take so much time and effort. Like, and this leads up to my other question. Like, how long does it take you to do one video? Like, is it weeks, months?
It depends on the video.
Okay.
Um, I, like the ones I'm doing right now really don't take that long because the Resident Evil games are pretty short. They a lot of the a lot of the content that you get from playing them through multiple times is like extra weapons, like stuff like
Yeah.
that, outfits, stuff like that. Um, so the games themselves are pretty short, and it doesn't take a ton of time to make a video about it. But like The Witcher, for example, the Witcher 1 video took me forever
Mm-hmm.
because, there's multiple dialogue choices. You got to go back through different things. You got to make different choices, different paths. It's a much longer game in general, so you got to cover like areas, and there's a lot more details and lore associated with it and stuff. Actually, when I was making the first video on the first Witcher game,
Mm-hmm.
I that was why I started. I have a series on my channel called I played 10 of the worst reviewed Steam games or whatever,
Sure.
and that was why I started that series, was because the Witcher 1 video was taking so long. I was like, I need to upload something on my channel. This is taking forever. So yeah, it just depends. Like, The Witcher probably took me multiple months, I think. And these Resident Evil videos might take a couple of weeks, something like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just want to tell people. Some people are asking who you are. This is your favorite son, a YouTuber who goes in depths and like writing gaming essays or the retrospectives about awesome horror games. One of my favorite that you have done is Deadly Premonition because it's the worst horror game I've ever played, but one of the best. It's like I don't
Yeah.
know how that works, but it it's so good that I want to get a tattoo of the cup.
Oh,
uh,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like it's just so good. But
Yeah, I mean it's like so inspired by Twin Peaks, and Twin
yeah,
Peaks, even though it has like horror elements, it's not like a horror show, It's like it's kind of like that. It's not a horror game, but there's like horror elements. It's more of a detective game really than anything.
yeah, for sure. Even the second one was pretty okay. Like again, my expectations weren't that great for the game, but just the story and everything, I was hooked. I'm a fan, so I had to play it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to take a step back from just talking more about like the content that you make. When you're not like sitting at your desk, like making these videos, and what are some of the hobbies that you like to do outside of like content creating?
Um, Lately it's been professional wrestling 24/7. It's
Okay.
all I watch now. Yeah, I got back into wrestling at the beginning of this year, so I just watch wrestling
Mm-hmm.
nonstop. I started skating last year,
Okay.
so I've been doing that a lot, especially now that it's summer. Um, uh, Warhammer too is like a light hobby. I'm definitely not into it as much as I should be. It takes, a lot of time
A
and a
lot
lot
of
of money.
time.
You have to be a rich person to play Warhammer.
I've heard of that.
Um, yeah, I think that's about it. Other than playing video games, like when I'm not making videos on games, I'll play. Like I'm playing. I've been playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 Plus Floor, the
Mm-hmm.
the new remake that came out. I've been playing that a ton
Gotcha.
lately, and I'm probably not going to do a video on it, but it's great. I love video games. I love playing video games,
Yeah.
so I never stop playing video games.
I was gonna ask is do you ever get like burnt out or like creative block or anything in that aspect?
People, I think, like people outside of the internet have asked me what I do, and then their like first question is always like, does that make you not want to play games anymore? And I know some people feel that way. They're like, oh, well, it doesn't feel like I'm taking a break if I'm playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
I love video games so much. Like I just
Okay.
I it doesn't really affect it for me. I want to I want to play more video games. I want to play video games all the time. It's what I've wanted to do since I was a kid. So yeah.
I nah, I definitely hear you. I'm definitely to feel the same. I actually got a question from an awesome viewer named Kylie from TikTok. What's your favorite games you played? If you had to pick some.
Uh, Favorite series of all time, Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
Nothing like it. Nothing will ever be like it. It's the best that ever was. I love Silent Hill. Silent Hill is awesome. Silent Hill 2 is probably one of my favorite games of all time. Um,
Do you like the remake better, or you like the original?
I wasn't a big fan of the remake. I know I'm among the few on that one. I made a video about it. I think it was like a competent game,
Yeah.
and it was probably a better video game than the original, but it sacrificed some things to make it a better video game, which is fine, and that's what a lot of people wanted. So that's okay. They were okay with that sacrifice.
Hmm.
For me, it was just a little too much. I prefer the original. The remake is not a bad game. It's just I think it's for a different audience than me.
Gotcha, gotcha. And another question is, those are some of your favorites. What are some of your least favorites or worst games you've ever played? Delicate mission.
Um, no, I'll never listen. I'll never talk bad
Oh,
about
no, no, no.
Delicate
I love the
Mission.
game.
Uh, Worst games I've played. I mean, I have, like I said, I have that series about the worst reviewed
Yeah.
Steam games. I mean, honestly, one of the games I played, maybe it's because I played it recently, a couple months ago, and it's so fresh in my mind. There's a game that came out recently called Game of Thrones King's
Mm.
Road.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Um, it's it is just I'm a huge Song of Ice and Fire fan. I love the books. I started reading them when I was like a freshman in high school, and I just was obsessed with the series for years. And so it was like that game was like extra insulting. Like it was just I don't know
Yeah.
if I've played a game that's that insulting before. Um, I mean, I could name 100, terrible games I've played on Steam that are really really bad. But
You know what that means. We're gonna have to do another episode of Whispers of Horror, so to go over that 100
it's
list.
true. It's true. Maybe make a tier list of
Yeah,
worst
yeah.
worst
I think
games.
that would be
Yeah.
dope. Like a tier, like a whole bunch of horror games, and we just rank them from like S to F. Like I'd be
Yeah.
totally down for that.
Yeah. That's a good
Um,
idea.
I literally forgot my question, but uh, because I looked at, so a big thing that I do is I have like a whole bunch of questions ready to go, and then I look and
Yeah.
I like to have the conversation before we go live, and I'm like, I'll ask like two of these questions and then forget about all of the rest of it. But
That's how it goes. It's all right.
um, oh, I remember. See, I told you this is why it's live.
There you go.
Do you? I'm sorry. Do you have any fears?
Like in general.
Yeah, like in general,
fears?
like this is away from just gaming or anything. Like, do you have any fears in real life?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm scared of spiders. I hate
Okay.
spiders. I've been honest about this. I actually covering the Resident Evil series, like
Sure.
there's a lot of big spiders in that game. And I was kind of like it sounds stupid, especially to people who aren't afraid of spiders. But that game was like it was giving me exposure therapy. I was
Okay.
kind of like pushing through my fear of spiders by having to like face them in a video game and kill them. Super corny thing to say on the internet, but it is what it is. Spiders, I don't like. I don't know if I'm afraid of roller coasters as much as I just like really dislike them.
Okay.
I hate roller coasters. What else? I'm not really afraid of heights, but like, when you see like a character, I think it's in Ferris Bueller's Day Off when they go up to the Empire State Building
Yeah.
and he's looking down. That makes my hands sweat. Like even just thinking about it right now makes my hands
Yeah.
sweat.
It
So
just
maybe
makes you
afraid of heights.
not like scared of it, but you just feel uneasy. Like
Yes, yeah, it's like an
there's a
unease.
horror movie called Fall. I don't know if you ever heard of
Okay.
it. Don't
No.
watch it because the next day I got like I couldn't stand straight. Like I literally almost collapsed because it just like had like a secondary effect on me. That movie gave it's literally like two girls climb up to like these phone tower, like, and the ladder breaks and they're stuck up there and they keep looking down, and I just like, I can't do it. And
Oh,
I'm
it's
not
like that
scared of it.
yeah, yeah. It's like that Frozen movie where they get
Yeah.
stuck on the ski lift.
Yeah, no, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up since you said you have like a fear of spiders. I was like, you should have played the horror game, the indie horror game called Huntsman, where it's like a huntsman spider. You're in a laboratory and you have to like try to like unalive it, but the
Yeah.
thing gets like it like literally preys on you, like walks
Oh,
slow and then just goes at you. One of the scariest games I've ever played, and now the developer added like the spider could walk on the walls and like
oh.
dangle down. I'm sorry, I know I'm adding to your fear.
No, you're
Just to
good.
be fair, like just to be fair, I would tell you
Trigger.
my
You're giving
fears.
me a trigger warning right now. Is what you're doing. Trigger
Yeah, yeah.
warning for that game.
Don't play
Yeah.
that game. But some of my
Okay.
fears, because I like to bounce it off, is I'm afraid of the open ocean. So like thalassophobia. I
Yeah.
can't do it. I don't like. I actually had a dream about it last night that literally got full awake in full sweat. I don't like to not know where I'm at and
Yeah.
try to tread water while not knowing what's under me and not being able to see.
That's fair.
Because there's so many things that at the bottom of the ocean that we don't know because we haven't experienced it or we can't get
Mm.
there. Like
Yeah.
we have had dinosaurs in the past. Who's to say like those things are still dormant down there? Like there's too
You just
many
you just
unknowns.
birthed you just birthed a new conspiracy
Oh
theory.
God, let's see.
Dinosaurs live in the ocean.
That's
I'm gonna start saying that now.
Hey,
That's my new
listen,
that's
you
my
heard
new
it first,
conspiracy
ladies and
theory.
gentlemen. But there's even that video of the anglerfish, which looks like alien. All these things at the bottom of the ocean looks like aliens. I don't care what people say, they do. Was
Yeah.
swimming to the top of the surface. There was a video. There's only two videos of all time that's ever happened. What scared that animal so bad that that motherfucker had to swim up? That's good
Yeah.
enough for me. My ass
That's
belongs
fair.
on land.
Yeah. No, yeah. I kind of agree. I don't think we should, flying seems kind of crazy to me even. Like
Going
that's
into
too much.
space?
Right? Yeah,
Don't get me started.
we should be here. We should be
Yeah,
right here.
100%.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite questions to ask every single guest, and you are episode. Well, I'm not classify you as an episode, but you are number 50 that I've asked of people. What is your definition of the word horror, and like not like your own description of it, not influenced by anybody else. Like, what does the word horror mean to you?
Um Man, I feel like I could talk about this forever
Oh no,
because
listen, we got an hour, so please.
I've
I can sit back and
I've
relax.
well I've talked a lot on the channel about horror. I think I always say that I think it's one of the hardest genres to develop a game for because it's so ethereal.
Hmm.
It's so hard to place. Um I think if we're talking specifically for video games, I'm going to stay in my lane because
Sure, sure.
that's what I know.
It can be
Um,
video games or it could just be in general, like whatever you
yeah,
want to describe it as.
I think horror is, um, you know what? This applies to movies too.
Sure.
Horror is the act they're consuming and convincing them, even just for a brief moment, that it's real, that what's actually happening in the game or in the movie is real. And if you can do that, if you can convince someone for a second, even if it's just a monster jumping out from a corner, if it's just the atmosphere in the room, if you can get them to not think about the fact that they're playing a video game or watching a movie, then you have succeeded in providing horror to your player.
That was an amazing answer. So I kind of want to like, I want you to elaborate. Like, what is real? Like, what is a real like? What? Yeah, what is real? Like, how do you describe? Like, take that second to think this is real. Like, in what sense?
I don't think. Well, um, I don't think you're. Let's say you're playing Silent Hill and
Hmm.
something jumps out at you and you get scared. In that moment, you're not. you're not thinking in your head this is real, but
Hmm.
you're like
Like
you're
immersed, like immersed.
yeah, it's a immersion a little bit,
Sure.
but your subconscious brain tells you for a second like, oh, something's wrong, and then that scares you. You know, that causes you to jump or to go like, ah,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, that's horror to me. Not
Okay.
just jump scares, but atmosphere. If you feel uneasy just walking through a room because of the music and the sounds and the design, that is that's horror. That's convincing your brain to tell you that you're in danger. Because if you're playing a game and it's not scary, you're just thinking about the game the whole time. You're not
Mm.
immersed in the experience. You're not the veil between player and media is still there. You can feel it and you're aware of it. But a really, really good horror game or even a good horror movie will momentarily get you to forget about all that, to forget that you're holding a controller, which is the
Yeah.
hardest thing to do for a developer, is to convince your player that they aren't holding a controller in their hands. But you forget that for a moment, and for a moment you think, I'm here, that's there, and it's coming after me. That's not good. I need to run or do something. Yeah.
No, I think that's a fantastic answer because it kind of goes a little with what I'm thinking too. Is just from your perspective, it's just like anything that can make you feel like again, like this is real, but that can trigger those fight or flight feelings. For me, horror is just that the fear of the unknown, but the being put into certain situations or experiences that will trigger your primitive instincts to
Mm.
either do two things. It's either fight for your life or flee or flight to escape for another day.
Yeah.
And those primitive instincts of like your body reacting to it is your eyes dilate, you can breathe, you can inhale and exhale oxygen capacity is just enlarged. You can run faster. You start you can like sweat. You sweat like the back of your body, like the back of your neck or your body, the back of your back. The little hairs on your arms and legs, they start to stand up. Like so,
Yeah.
anything that can make your body subconsciously tell you you're in danger, like you said, is
Mm.
what true horror is to me. Like anything that can do that is peak horror. So that.
Yeah, because like, and that's why I say it's the hardest. It's the hardest genre to make because, if you're making a game, you got to think about level design, you got to think about
Yeah.
enemy design, environments, all this stuff, story, narrative, everything. But with horror, you also have to add on this difficulty setting, let's say, of how do I get the player to be scared? How do I
Yeah.
make them scared? How do I do that in a new, unique, and interesting way? So it's I hats off to anybody that develops horror. It's insane.
Yeah, for sure. And the cool thing about horror is it's in every genre. And people don't. I
Mm.
think a lot of people would mistake that because it, we're living human beings, but we see horror every day in some
Mm.
type of aspect. You know, like people get sick, people die. Like it's just so many people get like insects. Everything is we're so insignificant to the whole grand scheme of things that and so fragile. So like waking up to try to have another day, like the fear of the unknown. Like Final Destination was one of the best movies to depict this. Like you could pick up a quarter and it could just ruin your life. Like it's
Yeah.
just crazy like that. But stuff
Yeah.
like that does happen. People get struck by lightning and just like walking down the street. Like it's just you never know. And I think that's what makes things scary. Which again, horrors and everything. It could be in just different aspects of different genres.
Yeah, I did a video a long time ago. I think it was maybe my third or fourth video on the channel. It was called Anxiety in Video Games.
Hmm.
The video itself's probably not good. It was very early, but I liked the concept a lot, which was I had this idea that like, anxiety permeates all genres of games.
Hmm.
It's very obvious in horror what they're trying to get you to feel is anxiety, but it also, there's an anxiety to playing Uncharted, like an action game. You know, it's supposed to be intense. You're supposed to be fighting and going through these skirmishes and making quick decisions. There's an anxiety. There's like certain games have like a time anxiety to them, like the Persona games. You know,
Hmm.
there's a ticking clock in all of those, and that gives you a certain amount of anxiety. Am I making the right decision? Am I well prepared enough to go
Like
through
quick
this
time
dungeon?
events, like QTs, stuff like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, this idea that uh, pushing anxiety or intensity is present in all games. I think horror just does it. Horror just has like a lot of specific tropes associated with it that they use to push those anxieties on you, and it makes a point of pushing those anxieties on the player rather than like balancing them out like a lot of other games do.
Yeah. Is there a game that you can think of that you've played or experienced that depicts the best representation of that?
of like
Of
horror
your
and anxiety.
uh
Um,
just horror, like your depiction, your definition of like the horror that you were explaining. It doesn't even have to.
um,
Yeah.
I would say, um, I would say, probably Silent Hill or Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
Um, I think those games are the best at the atmosphere is key to all this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Creating the right atmosphere and maintaining consistency in in that atmosphere is really important to convincing the player that they're in this, that they're actually in this. And I think Silent Hill does that extremely well. And the atmosphere, the sounds, it all feels very alien, very paranormal, supernatural, and it's just very good at convincing you that you're in this world. The world feels so alien but so real at the same time, and yeah, it's a combination of a million different things all working together. But the way they do it is just it's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I want to ask you if you could pick a video game. It could be horror game or video game in general that best describes your personality and the person you are. Like, what game is that?
My personality. Um,
Or what best represents you in general?
uh, Man, I want to say, um, I want to say probably Metal Gear Solid 5, I would
Okay.
say. I think it's like it's just the encapsulation of everything that I like in one thing. Like it's just everything that I like is in there. Um, you could probably say the same for like Death Stranding too.
Oh, don't get
Um,
me started. That's a whole nother episode. I think that's game of the year. People are
oh yeah, for
fighting me in
sure.
the comments. They
No,
say
it's Game of the Year.
Expedition
Yeah.
33. I got a message for y'all. Fuck off, because that Death
Well,
Stranding 2 is a masterpiece.
I'll say I was talking with a friend about this the other day. I think Death Stranding 2 is my game of the year, but I think Expedition 33 deserves it more because it's a smaller team, because it would,
Fair.
you know, give
Yeah.
them a boost, a publicity, a lot of stuff. Kojima, he doesn't need it. He's
No, I
good.
don't.
He doesn't need
No,
another game of
don't
the year.
care. Listen, no cap. I don't give a shit. Give Kojima his flowers. Let that man cook, cause he's scanning every fiber of a human being to the teeth to the fucking toes.
That's true. He does scan
Fanning's
those toes.
Hey,
He
man,
loves to scan those toes.
he gets the he gets the cuticles, he gets the like the little rough part of back of your foot, like
Yeah.
the calluses, like this man is has a lot of weird things, but he watching that scene, and I don't care. I don't think this is really spoilers, but when the soldiers are coming out of the tar and they're ready to fight, and they're just
Oh
like it
yeah.
just. I literally cried. Like I literally had a tear because it was just the fireworks. It kind of felt like like Metal Gear Solid kind of the way,
Mhm.
like, or just like
Oh
Modern
yeah.
Warfare. It's just like there's so many genres that or games that scene depicted, and you're like, I'm a motherfucker that's carrying a backpack. Like I can't beat that.
Yeah.
I was so
Yeah.
demoralized, but so hyped up, and I was like, this is probably the best scene I've seen in the last honestly 5-10 years. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was magical.
I'm working on a video on it right now in the background. It's taken too long, so I gotta do other stuff first. But yeah, it's one of the best games I've ever played. It's one of Kojima's best games he's ever made. It won't be just like every other Kojima game. It will not be truly appreciated for how good it is for 5, 10 years. That's how it
Mm,
always goes with Kojima.
I agree with that.
But it is getting a lot of. It's probably the best received Kojima game on release. Like I've seen a lot of people talking good about Death Stranding 2 on release, which usually doesn't happen with Kojima games. There's some big complaint on release, and then 5 years later, everybody's like, "This was a masterpiece."
I think
So
it's funny how like the first game had so many things. I wouldn't say wrong with it, but like one of the things that deterred a lot of people from the game was the pacing. The pacing,
mhm.
which is so so rough. You literally feel like a UPS and trying to drop something off to somebody else's house.
Mhm.
But he actually, and him and his team really listened to a lot of the feedback and fixed it.
Yeah,
I played 24 hours and I was like I'm not even done with it, but it did at no point did I feel like I'm wasting time. I felt like everything was important. Like BTs and just the fights and like you just never feel you feel the pain and just I was just that's one of the games that I feel like targeted fear in a whole different aspect. you
yes,
know
yeah,
and I
100%.
and it pulled at my heartstrings in different ways. Like I was angry, I was happy, I was sad, like all these emotions playing a genre that's supposed to scare you. Why am I happy
Yeah.
singing raindrops keep falling on my head? Like
I actually want to hear your thoughts when you finish it, because it's the finale is one of the craziest things that's ever been put into a video game.
really?
It's
Okay.
it's Kojima's strongest imagery that he's ever made. It's beautiful. It's the last 2 hours of that game are nuts. It goes
Okay.
completely off the rails. It's wonderful.
I'll
Um,
definitely I'll definitely reach out to you and let you know. Here's the issue about being like a horror content creator. We it's very hard to finish one thing because there's so many new things. You gotta kind of stay
yeah.
on the trend.
Yep.
Like there's new games coming out over and over again, and then when you have like that downtime, is the time when you can go back into like okay, like I
Yeah.
could really focusing on that. But to transition to this other question, this is a fun one. Knowing all the games that you have, we're gonna stick to horror though. Like playing all the
Mm.
horror games that you have played. Um, what if you can design a horror game like an idea or like or subgenre, not even subgenre, like an idea of a horror game? Like, what kind of game would you make?
Um, well, you know, I do want to make a game
Okay, don't
eventually.
tell us. I don't want to.
No, no, you're fine. I do want to make a game eventually. And for the past like year on the side, I've been working on learning the ins and outs of that and stuff, and I'm getting there. Don't
hmm
expect anything soon, but I think if you write this much, a lot of the people in the space, I think if they write this much about games, they care this much about games, they probably also want to make a video game, and that's kind of like the ideal to work towards. So that is the
hmm
goal eventually. Um, One thing I've never seen um, really implemented in a game or a horror game or anything like that is um like the X-Files concept, or there's a tabletop role-playing game that does it really well. It's called Delta Green,
Mm,
and
okay.
it's like there's like a secret organization within the government that investigates all these paranormal things, but it's very similar in setup to the X-Files, but it's much more serious and not grounded, but it's like cosmic horror, Lovecraft type stuff, and it's very it's much more
Like the sinking
scary
city
and
in a way.
yeah, kind of like
Okay.
that. You know, there's like
Look.
there's old gods and stuff in this world, and these
Hmm.
people in the government are trying to, you know, keep them controlled while not letting anything get out to the public.
Okay.
I've always wanted to play a game like that. I've always wanted to play a game where you are playing sort of X-Files like characters. I have a huge poster of X-Files right behind me. Where you're playing like X-Files like characters, you know, somebody in the government, not like Control. You know, I love Remedy, I love Control, but Control is like a different thing to me. It's it's more about like there's a whole branch of the government in Control that's
Hmm.
dedicated to that.
And what
I'm
about
talking I
Alan
want
Wake?
yeah, Alan Wake, it's in the same universe.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
it's
Sam. Gotcha.
very it's very similar. I love
Hmm.
those games. I love Remedy to death. I've made tons of videos about Remedy games. Love them. Alan Wake 2's amazing. Everybody should play it. But I think like the in Control there's a whole bureau that's dedicated to that. I'm talking like
Yeah.
in X Files, there's two agents in the
Yeah.
X Files. In Delta Green, it's like a fractured, splintered piece of the government that's working in the background. I kind of like that. I like that shadowy nature of it. That there's, you know, this, and they're not really trying to control it. They're just like investigating this and trying to figure out
Yeah.
what happened. I kind of like that.
It's kind of giving me like the Twilight Zone, Doctor Who, if it was a horror game kind of vibes, and like with the
Yeah.
L.A. Noir, like if you
LA
could, but
Noir. I love LA Noir.
yeah,
I do. That's my favorite. It's my favorite genre of games is like detective games.
yeah.
LA Noir, Alan Wake, like Heavy Rain, Deadly
Oh,
Premonition is a similar game.
I could see.
Um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
get what your vibe
I
is.
absolutely love those games, and they don't make enough of them. They're not very popular, so they don't make them very much. But I love an investigation game, solving a mystery.
There
That's my
was one
favorite.
that just was on the. Oh my god! It was like when he could rewind time, and he could. It was a detective game, and it was like futuristic. It's like, oh my god! I'm gonna really Google this, and I can.
You can
And
look it up.
I'm gonna look it up now. But while, but
Is
while,
it Quantum Break?
no, it's not Quantum Break.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Give me a second. While I'm
Yeah, yeah.
thinking about this,
Uh-huh.
the next thing I wanted to ask you, kind of piggyback at the question is what you kind of said, but for making a video game. But where do you see your channel and being in 5 years, and what are some of the goals that you would like to achieve in 5 years?
Um, I like to keep my goals small. I mean, I I started making YouTube videos because I thought
Mm,
it would be fun, and I after I made my first YouTube video, I was like, this is awesome. I loved every step of it. I liked writing and like getting better at writing essays and stuff and trying to figure out how to convey certain things at the right time. I liked getting better at editing. I liked learning about this whole world and constructing this thing at the end of the day that was like mine and was like a serious expression of how I felt about a piece of media
mm-hmm.
was really special to me. And um I loved it so much that I was just like I want to do this a million times again. So I just never expected it to get this big. I never
Yeah,
expected that. So I still have like like I still have expectations that are like this small channel expectations. Like
yeah,
when I launch a video, if it gets 1,000 views in the first hour, I'm like, okay, good, cool. That was like a success.
yeah,
That could mean that the video, like in terms of my channel, that could mean it bombs if it only gets 1,000 videos in the
yeah,
first hour comparatively to the other stuff. But I don't really care. I'm just like, I just want it to, if it gets 1,000 views, I'm good. That's, you know, so I don't know. I don't really know where it's going to be in 5 years. I think I'm just along for the ride and I'm
okay.
just, making videos and I want to make games and, uh, do that. And, yeah, I hope it all goes well.
Well, I found your channel because like I watched some other like video game essay. I'm not only classifying it as that, but that's how I know it by. Because I type in like horror game explain or horror game retrospective because I love listening
Yeah.
to like people really who take the time to in depth and get all the lore and everything to explain these games. And then your name popped up, and I was like, well, like I said, you were playing Deadly Premonition, but I was like, your favorite son. I was like, that's such a dope name. I was like, okay, well, I gotta know, and I gotta give it up to you because you have taken so many hours of my life away from just listening. You're very well spoken, by the way, but you're
Thank
very
you.
charismatic and you make a lot of funny jokes, which I love, and it helps me when I'm working. Just I have you in the background, or like if I'm home with my meta glasses, I'll be doing stuff, and then when I'm cooking, and then just like
You have meta glasses? That's crazy. Are they cool?
yeah, they're pretty dope because it's just like another way to show people what I do from my point of view. So like if I'm streaming and
Okay.
all this stuff, it just like or if I'm like editing and I have my daughter with me and just like they can see what my point of view is and how I go through the process. I think it's a whole nother uh, version of making content. And I love it. And
Okay.
honestly,
Yeah,
there
that's
I can
wild.
make phone calls. I can. I'm not promoting, but unless they want to sponsor me, I ain't gonna lie. But like yeah, videos they can record, they can you could talk to AI and you can ask it, hey, look at what my outfit today. Is this appropriate for the weather? And it said, oh, it's a little cold today. Maybe you should switch it up. And then I'll show it different things. It can look at a menu. Say, like, hey, look at this menu and tell me like what allergies or like what have nuts in it. And it's just so advanced. So
Wow. It's crazy.
honestly, I highly recommend it for people who are making content. Plus, like I got my daughter's first steps recording on my glasses
Oh,
because you
okay.
know a lot of people just pull out their phone, but I can be hands free with my daughter and I can record like some of the best moments, and it's just thank you Meta for doing that because like I
You should be like a testimonial in the commercial because that's
yeah
this
no
they would love this kind of
maybe
testimonial.
Maybe I'll send this to them. But no, for real, like
Yeah.
I don't really get to spend a lot of time with my daughter, and the fact that they gave
Mhm.
me an opportunity to see her make her first steps, like I was crying. Like, it was
Yeah, that's
such a
awesome.
beautiful thing, and I had both of my hands free, and I'm able to just do so much more with it. So I highly recommend it. It's the
Yeah,
best $300-400 I've ever spent, and I think they're just getting better. Um,
it's wild.
yeah, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. I found out what the game is, and
Oh,
you
okay.
should. It's called Nobody Wants to Die.
Oh, I think I do. I think I remember that, but I don't think I played it.
Okay, so listen, if you play it and make a retrospective of it, I will totally watch it because this game is dope. It's like it's in 2329. It's so futuristic, but it's a dystopian world in New York,
Okay.
and you are trying to figure out like this murder and like you can like I want to say bend reality. You get to take like memory chips from like what's that TV show that Dark? Oh my God, it's on Netflix. Basically, you can rewind your people's memories and stuff like that. But basically, you take a chip from the people or whatever, and you implant it into this like thing, and you can turn back time and fast forward it and see
Okay.
and then see like different clues to figure out what happened and then you have like another cop with you to try to it's nuts I
I'll
promise
definitely
you
check it out.
if you love those
Sounds
games that
dope.
you explain like Deadly Premonition and LA Noir like this game slaps and you feel like
I
Batman in a way it's so cool.
I'll definitely check this out. This looks awesome. It says it's similar. It's probably not similar to this because Steam is always
Yeah.
wrong with these comparisons. But I forgot to mention Disco Elysium.
Mm.
That's one of my favorite games of all time. That's similar thing,
Yeah.
detective sort of vibe. You're piecing together parts of the
100%.
story. Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't think I finished it, but the hours I did put into it, firmly enjoyed it. It was just different because like
Yeah.
it didn't have horror per se, but it did in a way because like people were dying and then the cool thing too like a person that got shot like you could like they die and then you rewind and see the bullet where it exited and you have to follow the bullet to where the gun was shot. Oh my God,
Nice.
you're gonna make me want to play it again.
It's like that. It's like the oh, I don't remember what they call them, but in Cyberpunk, when you have to look at the brain scan things
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to fast forward it and rewind it and stuff
Yeah,
to
something
figure out
like
the
that.
clues. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend that game.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
definitely check that out.
is there any games that you are looking forward to the end of this year or in the future? That oh, and like, are there
Um,
some video games that you want to make videos for? You don't have to answer that. Whatever you don't want to answer, you don't have to.
definitely this year. This year's been stacked already. There's been a ton of great games this year,
Mm-hmm.
and there's more great games coming out. Definitely looking forward to Metal Gear Solid Delta, the
Mm-hmm.
remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. Um, Silent Hill F comes out in September. Super excited for that. That looks awesome.
That's already banned in
Um,
Australia. It's crazy.
yeah. Uh, and Resident Evil Requiem comes
Mm-hmm.
out I think February or something like that.
Yeah, February twenty
Um,
seventh.
I think Pathologic 3 is supposed to be coming out this year.
Yes. Yes.
Super excited for that. Yeah, there's a ton of cool games coming out this year. As far as like games to make videos on, I don't know. I've been thinking about because I'm getting to the end of the Resident Evil series,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm starting to kind of have to think about what big series I'm going to cover next. I don't know. I'm thinking about. I'm in the mood for like a big long RPG series, so I've been
Mm.
thinking about Fallout. I've been thinking about
Fable.
Xenoblade. I already did Fable.
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah.
all your videos, so I
No, you're
apologize.
good. It's old. It's old,
Okay.
honestly. I think it was
I was
I
just thinking
did
off the top of my head.
I did Legacy of Kain, I did Max Payne, Devil May
Gotcha.
Cry, and then I did Fable right after. So it was a long time ago.
Okay, okay.
Um yeah, thinking about Fallout, Xenoblade, or maybe the Mother games. The
Oh, with the
Earthbound
remothered?
games.
Is it called
Huh?
Remothered?
No,
Was it?
Earthbound. It was like
Oh,
it
gotcha,
was like a
gotcha,
Game
gotcha,
Boy
gotcha.
Advance. Yeah. Um
Fallout would be
yeah,
dope.
so yeah, maybe Fallout. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm probably gonna have to do a poll or something, see what people want to see. But yeah, I'm not sure. There's a lot of games I want to cover. I have like a long list.
Yeah.
I there's a lot of games I've been playing recently. A lot of good indie games I want to cover. I have an indie games series as well where I play. I try to find indie games that have below 1,000 or like 1,500
Mhm.
reviews on Steam, and then try to make a video with like 10 of them in there.
Do you
To
ever use
see.
like itch, like the itch web?
I don't. I The only time I do is if I am following a developer on Twitter and they
Hmm.
like, their games on itch and they announce it or something. Then I'll go. I found some good games on there, but I don't like use it as a storefront.
Gotcha, gotcha. Because I was gonna say there's a lot of excellent games that people put out, and that which is crazy too, because they blow up a lot on TikTok and just like other places, just because they're just not shown or talked about because it's not Steam.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah, no, for sure. We're almost to an hour, but I got a couple more questions for you if you got the
Yeah.
time.
Oh yeah. Shoot.
From where you started from your first video to where you are now, like if you can go back in time, funny that we're talking about backwards, if because the game I told you about, if you could go back in time to yourself when you were making that first video, what is the best advice you would give to yourself?
Take your time.
Mm,
Take your time, definitely. I used to rush a lot more back in the day. I I wanted to YouTube is a game of numbers. It's a game of consistency, but it's also, you got to strike while the iron's hot. And so there's always this pressure to be putting out more content and to be, you know, especially when you make longer videos, it takes a lot longer if your all your videos are over an hour and a half or something like that.
mm-hmm.
So there was always this there's always this pressure to keep videos coming and keep them releasing, because I mean if you don't for a while your channel will take a hit. It kind of happened to me at the beginning of the year. I made this video on strategy guides that did very poorly. Nobody watched it, but I spent like 4 months of my life doing it. um, and when I came back, it just, it took a while to build the views back up again.
Mm,
um, so there's always that pressure, but I feel like in the beginning I was just trying to get as much out as I possibly could, and it just wasn't good. I think some series and some of the content from back then suffered here and there. It wasn't as accurate or comprehensive as it could be, and maybe it was just a little sloppy.
I get that. I get that for sure. Um, you mentioned like you were trying to push out as much content as you can in the early beginning. Like even like back then or even now, like how did you find like a good balance between like your personal life versus like making content? Are you still
Uh,
struggling with something like that, or like how do you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I'm struggling with it all the time. I'm like a workaholic too. So
okay,
like I love to work. Because
yeah,
it's a worse when you love your job so much. I think if I worked like a shitty job, I wouldn't really care. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, I want to work. I
yeah,
love it." It's I get to do what I love, and so I want to do it all the time.
mm,
Um, so yeah, I mean, you have to you got to find time for yourself and the people around you and stuff like that. And you know, uh, I think it was more of a problem, in years past when the channel had just started to do well. There was very much this idea of like, oh well, if I don't keep going, I'm gonna lose it, and this is like my opportunity or whatever. But now I think it's more like I'm just like, I gotta I have to do stuff. I have to work, but also I need time to chill. I need time to spend time with my family and my friends and stuff like that. So
yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I'm still struggling as well,
Mhm.
just because like I got a daughter, wife, and a full time job and making content. It's just like you gotta really something has to sacrifice. So like it's either my
Yeah.
sleep, my like, and it's a grind, you know.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like if it's something you love and enjoy, it doesn't feel tedious. Like we can do this. It's like me playing Death Stranding. Like I could put 8 hours. It's just like, what the fuck happened to the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Yeah,
wife's pissed
it's
at me, but I enjoyed my life. Like Death Stranding was amazing.
yeah. Yeah, no, I get that totally. Yeah, I got to a point I think where I was like, you know what? Like whatever, if the whole YouTube thing crashes and fails because I'm not putting 120 hours in a week,
Hmm.
then whatever, I guess is what it is. I think I'm pretty lax when looking at life at this point. I'm just kind of like figure it out. I don't know. Always
What?
works out in the end.
Yeah, it does. And a lot of people, I want to tell people like there's always a light that shines at the end of the tunnel. But
Yeah, for sure.
what video did you realize that, holy shit, like this could definitely be a thing. Like I really should go, like this is, or what, like propelled your channel? Like what is there one specific video that you took this more seriously and you're like, I gotta make more content like this, I have something here.
Yeah, it was so I made like the 13 Sentinels video that I made the Concrete Genie video. And then it
Mm-hmm.
took me a while to get back to YouTube. I came back and actually it was funny enough. I in that downtime, I had this idea for a series called Now and Later Reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the whole idea was I was going to go to a local secondhand store, buy a game that I had never heard of before, sight unseen. I would film myself reviewing the game before I had even played it. So
Okay.
I would say like, "Oh, I think the graphics are going to be really bad based on the manual." The only thing I could look at was the game in front of me, the manual, the back of it. I think the gameplay is going to be like this, blah blah blah. And then I
Gotcha.
would play the game and then I would review it after and compare like my scores and stuff. Um, but I did that with this game called Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter that I found in the
Yeah.
store,
Sure.
and I filmed the before part. I played the game for like 40 hours or something. I was like going hard into every little detail and everything, and then it came time to edit the footage, and all the before footage was like completely out of focus. I didn't have any experience with like cameras or anything like
Yeah.
this at the time, and I couldn't go back and film the before footage. So I was
Yeah.
like, so I just had to scrap the whole video. And so then I was like, I want to make a video on this series called Legacy of Kain. It's like one of my favorite series of all time. And I felt I had looked on YouTube. Nobody had really made like a complete video on it
Mm.
before. And so I was like, I want to work on that, but I need to get some more videos under my belt before I do that. So I just
Yeah.
started making random stuff and little video essays and everything. And then Legacy of Kain came out. It got super big. I think at the time, super big for me was like 10,000 views or maybe 5,000 views or something. I remember
Yeah.
the Legacy of Kain wiki. I interviewed the people that ran that for that video, and they retweeted my post, and they had like 10, 20,000 followers, whatever. So I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my god. That video got me, just that video alone got me monetization and met all the
Nice.
requirements and stuff like that. So then it was then that video going so big, I was like, oh, I might be able to actually do this, to actually make something of it. So I just started churning stuff out, and then I think like maybe 6 months later, a year later, something like that, I was like, I'm gonna do this full time because I don't really need to do a job.
Yeah, no, congratulations to get the opportunity to do that. You know, it's not easy to first hit monetization, but also like consistently make videos that can help you make this your full time job. I think that's a lot of
Yeah.
people's dreams and everything like that. Um, Knowing that you are able to do this, what does content creating mean to you?
What? Sorry, I didn't catch the end of
Oh,
that.
no worries, no worries. I said, what does content creating mean to you, knowing that you get the opportunity to do this?
I mean, it's awesome. It's kind of like a dream thing. I mean, there's little things I complain about, like I talked earlier. I was like, oh, recording sucks,
Sure.
whatever. It does. But it's just nitpicking at the end of the day. Like there are tons of people out there that wish that they were in the position I am in. So I try to be really grateful about
Yeah.
it, and yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I can complain all day, but at the end of the day, I get to play video games and I get to talk about them, which is what I was already doing before I was making videos. I was just doing it with my friends and
Mm.
bullshitting in my living room. So it's just now I get to do it in front of whatever amount of people.
Do you ever think of? I know I've only seen like a couple lives that you've done. Do you ever think about like doing more lives in the future, or you want to strictly like stay with the videos that you make?
Yeah, I do, I did a podcast for a while with my friend Evan Prince, who's
Mm.
also makes YouTube videos. Check him out, he's awesome. His channel got hacked recently. Bastards hacked his channel. So
I
but
hate
he's
when people do.
back.
That's good.
He's
That's
back.
good.
Um, no, we did a podcast for a while, consistently every week for like a year. And then I was streaming for a while, pretty consistently. And then, mainly I go live if there's like a state of play, Summer Games Fest, Game Awards. I usually go live and hang
Okay.
out with people and talk about those because I think that's pretty fun. I would like to stream more. The videos already take so long
Yeah.
that there's just not enough time.
I feel
But
you on
I,
that.
I need to. I need to definitely. I'm also bad at streaming. Like I've been making videos
What are you
for
talking about? You just
years.
did an hour with me. This is we're live.
Yeah, but you did
These-
you did all the you did all the tech stuff. You were the one that was adjusting the picture on the
Listen,
fly. I
if you
didn't
need
do
the
that.
person to do all the tech stuff and you gotta just be live, I got you. I'll be that person for you. I got you.
You'll be my handler.
Yeah, listen, there's
Yeah,
all collaborating and people need this all networking, man. So
that's true. No, I can do it. I'm just it's like I've been doing the videos for so long, and I feel like competent at that, but then I get
yeah,
into live streaming. I'm like, I don't, this is not my
it's like
world,
foreign
man.
territory. Yeah, yeah. Same thing
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Like I started with live streaming, but I suck at making videos. I've been trying to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hi guys, my name's Avery. Like,
Yeah.
go by Soavecito, and I'm like, and then, but when I'm live, it's so natural. So like, it's like a
That's
learned
yeah.
skill.
I will say that every time I always like before I'm about to go live, I always dread it. I'm like, oh, what if something happens? What if I mess
Yeah,
something up? But then I do it and I'm like, this is so fun. Why don't I do this more? It's just
yeah.
hanging out with people and
Just
chatting. It's
time
awesome.
consuming though. I feel you on
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I have well, I have two things left. So I have one final question, but then I have like this thing, rapid fire. Would you be down? It's like quick
Yeah,
answers, QTs, all that. All right.
love a
So
rapid fire.
I got seven beautiful quick questions, and we're just gonna get started. All right.
Okay.
Jump scares or slow burn horror?
Slow burn horror.
Okay. Zombies or ghosts?
Ghosts.
Okay. Favorite horror movie villain, and then I'm gonna say, and then horror game villain.
It's two separate ones.
Yeah, this is gonna. So the first one's gonna be horror movie villain.
Horror movie villain. Nicolas Cage and Longlegs. And horror game villain. Uh, Pyramid Head.
Okay, bet. Games you refuse to play again for good or bad reasons. Damn it, permanent. I'm just kidding.
Um, games I refuse to play again.
Man, this rapid fire is going slow. Just kidding.
There's gotta be one. I have to own a bad video game. I don't own any bad. Oh, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Okay, bet. What's scarier? Deep ocean, pitch black forest, or abandoned asylum? To
Um, Abandoned Asylum.
you. Okay, first horror game you've ever played.
Ooh, maybe Silent Hill. I think one.
Favorite moment, favorite thing about making content.
Posting it.
Posting. Okay, if you were in a horror game, what would your NPC line be?
Get away from me, you hag.
Last question. um, would you want to be a future guest in Whispers of Horror?
Yes.
All right, bet. Ding.
Yeah.
I gotta have like I think in the future I'm gonna have more sounds like where my guests can hear the sounds of like dreaded music, like it's gonna get louder, like
Yeah.
crescendo, like you're wasting time. You're wasting time and stuff. I think that you just gave me some dope ideas, but
You gotta get get like a little soundboard like this. It has like, oh, I can't. Yeah, there you go. You can see it.
I do have soundboard. Like I don't have the actual thing. I have like the online things, but that's
The
something
virtual.
I'm looking. Yeah, I have the virtual one,
Yeah.
but that's something definitely I want to look forward to, like doing in the future. I got so many
Mhm.
ideas, but my final question for you is like two parter. But
Okay.
the first part is, say I met you in person and I knew who you were. I'm like, holy shit, your favorite son. I don't know how I know what your face is, but what's good? I said, hey, listen, I'm an up and coming YouTuber and I wanna make this content. Like, what is the best advice you would be able to give me?
Um, I would say, so the advice I usually give people, people usually give technical advice, and I think you can find that anywhere.
Hold on, I'm taking
Um,
notes.
You can find that anywhere. The advice I would give is love it before you want to make it a career. It's not this whole thing is not about, because if nobody was watching me tomorrow, if people stopped watching, I would still make videos. I've said before that my ideal scenario is that I can live in a cabin in the forest and I can just make videos for no one, that they live on a hard drive, and somebody just pays me $1 million a month to live alone, because I just, I don't care. Like, it's, make the videos for you, make the stuff for you, make what you want to make. It's more satisfying to do it that way, and you will find, if you like it and if you enjoy the process, you'll find a lot of joy in that, and that will propel you forward. You'll never, it won't matter, your satisfaction will not be tied to the amount of views you get, the amount of subscribers you have, whatever. You will just be doing it because you love it, and that's really the only way to proceed in this niche, this industry, whatever. It's
Beautifully
weird to
said.
call it an industry. Why did I say that?
I know,
Feels
cause like
gross.
I don't know, like 15, 20 years ago, it was kind of shunned, or it looked like people looked down on us for,
It's like,
or like,
yeah, because Fred was like the biggest one.
yeah, they're like, you play video games, like, and now it's the coolest shit ever. Like people are like,
Oh
yo,
yeah, yeah,
dope,
video
like you
games.
live stream, like back in the
Yeah.
day, like I people are like you're a nerd, like it's just crazy how trends shift everything, and
Oh yeah,
how it's
anime was the same way.
yeah.
Anime used to be
Pe- pe-
super lame, and now everybody loves anime.
I know. So I'm not complaining. I love anime and I love video games, and now this is like the perfect world for me to live in. So I'm cool. I'm chilling. I'm cool in
Yeah.
it. But I just want I'm going to just kind of lead into the last question, but I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be a part of Whispers. You know, like to honestly understand like the behind the scenes of making these in depth videos about some of the dopest games that I've played, and just getting to know your creative process into doing it. So, with my
Yeah.
final question, I want to ask is there anything you want to tell the audience or like future guests who watch these episodes on a replay or listen to on Spotify? The floor is basically yours for the last closing minutes.
Um. I don't know. I just just do what you want to do. Fuck everybody else, and just enjoy life. It's if you want to play video games all day, just play video games all day. Figure out a way, a sustainable way to not become homeless and play video games all day. If you can do that, you win. You've won life.
I couldn't say it better than that. I guess
Also,
I
also,
oh, there's a second part. Okay,
wait.
there's more.
There's a
There's
second
more.
part. What he won't tell you is that he manipulates his guests by doing the rapid fire. I caught this. It's just a very tricky little thing, and then asking right at the end the rapid fire, "Do you want to be back on the show again?" That's a little manipulative trick. I see you.
Is
I see
it?
what you're
Is
doing.
it? The
It's
people
a little
could.
manipulative. I was gonna say yes. I was gonna say yes regardless,
But here's
but
the
I'm just
question.
saying
But here,
it's a little tricky. It's a little
but
tricky.
it's rapid fire. Also,
So
who
you
makes
gotta
the
think fast.
decision? But who makes the decision at the end of the day? You do, right? Regardless
It's
of the
true. You
influences.
got me.
If I tell you to jump off a bridge, you're gonna do it? Probably not, right?
If you
So I'm
ask
just
if
saying.
you ask me in if I only have 5 seconds to answer, maybe I'll say yes. I'll be like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I get. I pray for you then. 'Cause-
I'm just kidding.
But
Yeah,
nah,
I don't have
honestly, you
anything to
know
say.
what? You caught me red-handed. Yeah, it could be a little manipulative, you know, but I think it's a
A
cool
little
little
tricky.
add-on because you know
It's a
what?
good it's a
I'm getting
good
a.
manipulative though. I'm giving
I
you
got a whole
props.
roster. I need a whole roster of returning guests. You know how hard is it to have people check my emails, check their DMs, and be like, "Yo, who the fuck is this?" Like, it's a lot.
I don't
I
envy
got a
you.
lot of competition.
I don't envy your position.
Oh God, but listen, son. Which you see how I only did it a couple times. For an hour and 10 minutes, like I only called you son like 4 times. So I think I did pretty well.
That's
Well,
smart.
well, well. Thank you so much, your favorite son. You have been an amazing guest, and I can't wait to do some more future content with you in the
Hell yeah.
future. And I'm appreciative of it. This is I keep saying this is one of my favorites, but every episode is just so different and unique that I enjoy every single one of them. So I'm just honored to be able to finally get to understand the mindset of people who make these game videos. So thank you.
It's like trying to pick a favorite child or maybe a favorite son.
I'm ending it. I'm ending this Whispers of Horror. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching episode. I'm not gonna respond to that episode 50 of Whispers of Horror. Until next time.